The influenza epidemic of 1918 claimed 50 million lives. That's more than the casualties of World War I, standing at 40 million. There are many similarities to the 2019 situation. It hits the first world countries, Europe and USA, first and hardest, seeming to come from nowhere at once. Again, what are put down to errors are originally made in the response, ending in the same courses of action: oxygen machines, various experimental drugs that were emerging, pharmaceuticals really beginning to take off as a business and enterprise in the early 1920s. The condition is blamed on soldiers being transported together in large numbers, and the pigs and chickens kept at Camp Fuston. Unsubstantiated excuses. It also reminds one of the ships and the rats carrying the Black Death in the Middle Ages. More likely, the condition was introduced to the soldiers intravenously, and that was used as an in for and eugenics. Between March the 4th and March the 29th, 1,100 men were found to be suffering from a flu that was becoming more severe and turning to pneumonia. Cities were enforcing mandatory isolation. Schools and public buildings closed. Masks, no spitting, the full psychological operation. The standing authority on vaccines at this time is Richard Pfeiffer, MD, 1958 to 1945. A Fellow of the Royal Society, of course, so may well have known Charles Pfizer, patriarch of that particular group. Pfeiffer was a bacteriologist who saw germs as the cause of all sorts of diseases, including anthrax, cholera and plague, and pioneered the typhoid vaccine with Robert Koch in Bombay. But Pfeiffer MD is remembered as a great World War I general, where he won the Iron Cross much like Adolf Hitler did. There is the whimsical story of his saving the life of fellow microbiologists Jean Kamel and Camille Goering, other makers of vaccines. Compare this to Churchill escaping from prison in South Africa, 1899, by scaling a fence with a bottle of whiskey, hiding in a coal mine, living off the land like Crocodile Dundee, before randomly turning up at the door of an Englishman, John Howard, and so saved. It was all straight out of a Punch Boys manual. Already the grooming for soldiers necessary in World War II. The idea that the officers and politicians were on side, ready to die for king and country.